U.S. Vice President JD Vance urged European leaders to step up in a big way to provide for the defense of the continent during his speech Friday at the Munich Security Conference. According to Associated Press, Vance used the engagement to reiterate the Trump administration's call for NATO members to spend more on defense. "The threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values, values shared with the United States of America," he said. Vance told the crowd that if Europeans step up, the United States can focus on areas of the world that are in great danger.
We gather at this conference, of course, to discuss security. And normally, we mean threats to our external security. I see many great military leaders gathered here today. But while the Trump administration is very concerned with European security and believes that we can come to a reasonable settlement between Russia and Ukraine, and we also believe that it's important in the coming years for Europe to step up in a big way to provide for its own defense, the threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values, values shared with the United States of America. So I come here today not just with an observation, but with an offer. And just as the Biden administration seemed desperate to silence people for speaking their minds, so the Trump administration will do precisely the opposite, and I hope that we can work together on that. In Washington, there is a new sheriff in town, and under Donald Trump's leadership, we may disagree with your views, but we will fight to defend your right to offer it in the public square, agree or disagree. This is a security conference, and I'm sure you all came here prepared to talk about how exactly you intend to increase defense spending over the next few years in line with some new target. And that's great, because as President Trump has made abundantly clear, he believes that our European friends must play a bigger role in the future of this continent. We don't think, you hear this term, burden sharing, but we think it's an important part of being in a shared alliance together that the Europeans step up while America focuses on areas of the world that are in great danger.
Ukraine's defense minister reassured allies that the country's forces were strong, capable, and will deliver, ahead of NATO talks in Brussels on Thursday. According to Associated Press, speaking alongside Secretary General Mark Rutte, Rustem Umerov said Ukraine's focus was on securing further security assistance. "NATO is taking over our security assistance and training. So it is already in process. It is settled. We're thankful to NATO and the leadership of NATO," Umerov said. "At this stage, the message is that we're continuing, we're strong, we're capable, we're able, we will deliver," he added ahead of a NATO-Ukraine Council working lunch. Rutte said it was important that Ukraine was in the best possible position ahead of any possible peace negotiations with Russia. And then, to make sure that the outcome is durable. Rutte's comments came as several NATO allies stressed on Thursday that Ukraine and Europe must not be cut out of any possible peace negotiations. European governments are reeling after the Trump administration signaled that it is planning face-to-face talks with Russia on ending the Ukraine war without involving them, insisted that Kiev should not join NATO, and said that it's up to Europe to protect itself and Ukraine from whatever Russia might do next. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth denied that the United States is betraying the war-ravaged country by launching negotiations about its future without Kiev's full involvement.
Well, good afternoon. It's very good to have... Need to achieve is for Ukraine to get in the best possible position when talks start. And then to make sure that when talks end on peace in Ukraine, that the outcome is enduring, is durable. That Vladimir Putin will never again try to capture 1 square kilometer of Ukraine in the future. So that's really crucial. To get there, we need to continue the military support. Fighting the Russians, but also how as a collective alliance we can learn from you and apply those lessons elsewhere.
Today we're going to continue our conversation. Our focus is security assistance. We see that all the allies are supporting it. US is with us continuing security assistance. NATO is taking over our security assistance and training. So it is already in process. It is settled. We're thankful to NATO and the leadership of NATO. So at this stage, a message is that we're continuing, we're strong, we're capable, we're able, we will deliver. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. See you later.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov spoke on Wednesday about the stupor caused by the news of a phone conversation between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin the day before. According to Associated Press, speaking at a joint briefing with his Tajik counterpart Sirojidin Muridin, Lavrov said viewing that phone call as something out of the ordinary speaks to what the Biden administration staff, led by their president, have brought themselves to. Lavrov said the West had become used to communicating with Russia, using the language of threats, sanctions, and supplying Ukraine with weapons. That is probably why many in the West, starting with the leaders of the European Union, were stunned when a normal, basic conversation between two well-mannered, polite people took place, Lavrov said.
Уважаемые дамы и господа, с министром иностранных дел Таджикистана, моим добрым другом Сираджидином Мухридином, мы констатировали. Меня поразило то, что сейчас весь мир пришел в какое-то оцепенение и рассматривает состоявшийся телефонный разговор и сообщение об этом телефонном разговоре как нечто из ряда вон выходящее. То есть вот до чего довели себя сотрудники администрации Байдена во главе со своим президентом.
Any talks, the fundamental root causes of the Ukrainian conflict, the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, need to be addressed.
И судя по всему, судя по тому удивлению, которое по тому ступору, который вызвали переговоры по телефону между Трампом и Путиным, судя по всему, вот все, что происходит на Украине, все, что творит нацистский режим Зеленского, Запад стал воспринимать как должное. Вот именно так надо общаться с Россией. Поэтому, наверное, на Западе многие, начиная с руководителей Евросоюза, оцепенели, когда состоялся нормальный, элементарный разговор двух воспитанных, вежливых людей. Хорошо.